but her music will last a long time, and she has had an impact, I think, far beyond her appreciation of her while she was alive. She will only grow now, frankly.
I have to ask you, because everyone also on social media, and there was some controversy. They said Bobby came in but then left. Do you know anything about it? Was he asked to leave, or he had an entourage or something?
What happened was there were 4 or 5 of them sitting on the front row, and they wanted him to move. And I think they didn't make proper accommodations for him to move, and so he was asked to leave. That was a very difficult moment for all of us. I tried to get him to stay. But they asked him to get up to go and wouldn't make room for him. That was a painful morrow in today's otherwise tremendous, inspiring service.
What was his reaction to having to move?
I thought he's been very positive. He came and he sat on the front row, but they said that was reserved for the family, of which he's a part in a real sense. I mean, Bobby Christina is his daughter, and she was his wife, and it seemed to me that they could have accommodated him better than they did.
How were Bobby?
Whitney, Sissy and Bobby Christina, they were in the car. They didn't see any of this going on, frankly, so they were not a part of it. But
how were Bobby, Christina? There you see the dignitaries are leaving and members of the family. So listen, Bobby, Christina, and Sissy, how were they during the services? How were they holding?
Great. I thought, except the times that their singing became so very exciting. They broke down once or twice, but I thought that the words given again by the Winans were great, and Tyler Perry. Words were most.
Hang on, Reverend, if you can get Miss Flack, can you come over? Miss Flack, hey, we're live on CNN. Roberta Flack is here as well. How are you doing, Roberta?
Hi, I'm holding up. I'm, as well as I can. Whitney was not a personal friend of mine, but someone that I knew from the time she was like a little girl and singing her heart out. And her mom and I have a very close relationship. So I'm in pain, but I'm like everybody else, trying to get through it.
Okay, I understand you're going to go talk to our Piers Morgan now. Piers is on the stage. Thank you very much. Is this a copy of the program? Yeah. Can we see it? This is a copy of the program. The hearse, we're being told, is moving now, but there you go, a copy of the program from Whitney Houston. So Piers.
But the governor flying the flag at half-mast also received tremendous ovation.
Thank you, Reverend. We're gonna go back now because the hearse is moving there. You see Reverend Sharpton as well coming over live. You guys want me to throw it back? You want to talk to Reverend Sharpton here?
You know what, Don, we'll keep talking as we are looking at pictures of the gold hearse. Don will show everybody some pictures of the gold hearse that carries the body of Whitney Houston. Obviously, she has a police escort, and there are numerous motorcycle police officers as well who are behind that hearse. What they've been able to do is to clear many of the streets, blockades really for blocks all around, and that'll make the navigating out to the funeral home much easier for obviously this hearse to get through. It was interesting to hear some of the pastors who came up, T.D. Jakes certainly, who said that he'd gotten to know Whitney Houston later. He was the executive producer of Sparkle, the film that will be coming out in the summer that apparently Whitney was remarkable in. And he said to the family, you paid a tremendous price in life. You had to share her with the world. And I think that's often very hard for families of someone so famous to realize that while this is their day, it's also the world's day. People who are fans of Whitney Houston's, too, are grieving and also want to be part of understanding
I thought they
life.
got it absolutely right today,
I agree.
though. I thought the family got the balance between giving the fans something, but also between, I think, keeping it an intimate and family affair for family and friends. I thought they got it bang on. And people who criticise them have to try and imagine what it must have been like for Sissy Houston, her mother, all week, trying to wrestle with the right thing to do. You could not argue that was not an incredible service.
It was beautiful.
That paid tribute to her daughter in the most perfect way, but also allowed the media from a respectful distance, I think, and her fans around the world to share in it without being intrusive. And I take my hat off to the whole family. I think they got it spot on today.
We're looking at pictures of the hearse. This is the gold hearse that carries the body of Whitney Houston in the casket as they make their way away from the church and will head to the funeral home. And then, of course, the burial will be tomorrow.
Yes, there had, of course, been the suggestion that the service be held somewhere else. The Prudential Center came up, and this was a chance to do something private, something personal, but as we've heard several times, to let the world into the church, to take the world to church today, and to give everyone a chance to celebrate Whitney.
Tyler Perry said Grace carried her and Grace is carrying her home, and I think that those were such incredibly apt words to describe the way in which they were able to pull off what had to be such a challenging and almost impossible event to remember someone who died so young. We just lost our signal there, but we'll go now to Don Lemon, who's talking to some more people as they are making their way out of the church. Don?
Reverend Sharpton is here. Reverend, you were in the church. Dignified way Cissy Houston sent her daughter off, don't you think?
I think it was dignified, and I think it really brought back to the roots of Whitney Houston, which was the church. Mm-hmm. She came out of the church, and in many ways, she returned back to where she started. And she came back with all of her friends, superstars, political figures, to her church. Yeah. She brought them back.
And, you know, you were tweeting from inside before this. You were very respectful, and I was watching your feed, and I'm sure you saw, they said on Twitter, Cissy Houston, as what Marvin said, took the world to church today. They see how black folks, especially Baptists, celebrate people's lives when they die.
Yeah, well, I tweeted from the pastor's office. I didn't tweet during the service. I didn't misbehave. But no, I did think that when Marvin Winans said that, and everyone on the program were people that were involved in her life. We all were there, but those of us that were not as close were not on the program. So everyone spoke from a personal kind of testimony. Whitney was a beacon of light to this community, and I'm very, very happy that her mother chose to do it in this way.
One moment that was seen around the world during the services when it first started, we saw Bobby out here standing upset. He left. What happened inside?
No, I talked to Bobby. Bobby did nothing but show love and respect for the memory of Whitney and his daughter. And Bishop Jackson, I spoke with him on the cell phone, and he has shown nothing but love and respect. I wish people would leave Bobby alone.
Not that, but we just heard that his entourage could not be accommodated.
I don't know anything about that. I know that Bobby, when he spoke to Bishop Jackson, said all he wants to do is show respect and love.
Reverend, this is the service. This is the program. Beautiful program here. And I'm going to hold it here and just look inside at some of the pictures. It's just a lovely pictures of Whitney Houston at the height of her career as a young girl, winning awards, as you can see here, looking beautiful. And then at the end, of course, all the people who spoke and the way the program went. Reverend, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
And God bless. We all went to church today, and our faiths were all renewed. We're all renewed.
All renewed. I'm looking for you tomorrow. Maybe to develop a habit.
Thank you, Reverend Sharpton. We're going to go to CNN's Jason Carroll now. Jason.
Yes, I'm ready. Well, we've been standing out here, and as you know, the service took place, you know, you heard prayers going on inside the church. There were prayers happening out here in the street. Yes. When you heard an amen in the church, you heard an amen out here on the street. And when there were tears inside during the service, we saw people crying out here as well. Obviously, a lot of folks were not invited. People who loved Whitney Houston, her fans, the people who knew her here in the community, they've been standing out here on the street. They were watching the service on one of our monitors in our truck, and they wanted to come out and share some of their thoughts about some of the moments that moved them the most. I know right back here, during the very end, during the eulogy, there were tears. I saw you crying as well. Yes, obviously a very emotional moment for you today.
It was, and ironically, my favorite song was when Cece sang "Don't Cry for Me."
Okay. Would everyone agree with that? Cece, that was a moment, wasn't it? When she took to that, that was definitely a moment.
Saying, "Don't Cry for Me." We're all welling up and tearing up, and it was very moving.
For you, what was another emotional moment for you?
Stevie Wonder.
Oh yeah, Stevie Wonder.
His performance was very where he couldn't sing "Ribbon in the Sky," and he had to make his own words right away and just think of something what he wanted to say from his heart.
Whitney Houston was a woman who, she was a superstar, but she never really lost her roots here in this community, did she?
Oh, no.
Everyone really felt it, correct?
Yes,
correct. We love Whitney. She lived right around the corner, her mom's house, back in the days, right from where I live. We love you, Whitney. We will always love you, and you will always be missed. I feel like I was in the church. Just standing here, I feel like I was really in the church, and I love when it was finishing and they sung Whitney song.
So obviously out here, just a few blocks from where the church is, Pierce and Soledad, everyone basically feeling that they, in some way, got to be a part of the service.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think that's very true.
Can you get this off your pants, Pierce?
Certainly those of us
Something on your pants
only
on
got
the
to
other
watch
side,
it from a
on
little
the
bit of a
inside.
distance.
Right
No
there.
question about it.
It's okay.
We also felt like we were very much in the middle of that service. We're joined now by the great Roberta Flack, amazing songstress, and what a pleasure to have you. I'm well.
It's a pleasure to be here.
The service from out here, and we're a little bit of a distance away, looks so moving and so amazing. And Reverend Jackson, I'm going to move if I can.
You need to get out of the way.
We appreciate you joining us, and Reverend Jackson joins us as well. You guys have just come over from the service. What did you think? It seems so beautiful from those of us who didn't have a chance to be inside.
It was beautiful. I mean, needless to say, it was extremely beautiful. And what made it so is the fact that all of the entertainers who performed, who sang, either picked songs that they felt described their personal relationship with Whitney or what she might have thought about this whole business, you know. For instance, Stevie sang Ribbon in the Sky, and he changed the words because he said that it was one of her favorite songs and that he was doing that for her, but then he changed the words to be relevant to, you know, her passing, her birth date and her passing and everything. And then he sang Love's in Need of Love Today. That was a high point for me. Kim Burrell, you know, singing A Change Is Gonna Come.
Right. Changing the words as well.
Yes, you know, but everything was really wonderful, and that's as it should be when you consider not only who Whitney was as an artist, but her mom and the church, the whole setting, just sort of kind of, you know,
Jesse Jackson, let me bring you in here. It was a remarkably uplifting service in so many ways, wasn't it?
Well, the eulogy should be the high points. It was the joy and the investment. I make the case, as all these critics weigh in now, that it's the box score that counts. You know, that the energy hit a home run, the energy making error. But at the end of the day, she is a winner, and that's what matters. The cultural impact penetrated far beyond our appreciation of it. I mean, there's almost a new Whitney since last Saturday, and she will only get bigger, but because the appreciation of her will get deeper and far more profound.
I thought it was amazing to hear the personal stories. Like Kevin Costner's story about sort of the behind the scenes of The Bodyguard was incredible.
It was incredible.
He was great, wasn't
He was
and funny.
A revelation, I thought, Kevin Costner.
he? He was extraordinary.
And honest.
And so was Clive Davis.
Yes. And I think, you know, considering that they are not members of the black community, that was significant. Because you're in a black church, you're in a church where Whitney Houston, not just somebody, but Whitney Houston grew up, her mom is there, the whole family is there, there's a whole perspective. And it just proves that, you know, not only can we all get along, but we must, and when you have a chance to put two artists together like Whitney and Kevin, you come out with something that he said, as he said, is lasting and memorable. So people will never forget The Bodyguard, and God knows people who witnessed him talk today will remember it even stronger.
And music is that universal norm. Some years ago, I was in the Soviet Union when the Iron Curtain was up. And politicians couldn't get through, were threatening to blow each other up. But all night long, they played Motown, and they played sax. Music has that power. That's why musicians who have these special gifts must be careful to use them in a way that's transformative. And that's kind of what, I mean, I will always love you. You know, the greatest. The Star Spangled Banner, Jesus Loves Me. And for the children around here who know that it was, her first music teacher was a mother. You know, her choir director was a mother, her critic was a mother, and the surrounding friends. So it's been a day of joy and pain, as they would say, sunshine and rain, but having put the two together, she's a winner.
I love this picture on the front here of the Order of Service, because people forget Whitney Houston, when she was 17, was a beauty queen. She was a real trailblazer, actually. She was a model, and she appeared on many magazine covers.
The beauty queen at 30 and 45 and 48 too.
It could have been a career for her, and you see that picture there. Really,
it was beautiful. The program's
really
lovely. We have to take a commercial break. I want to thank you for talking with us.
My
We
pleasure.
So
I'm glad I didn't fall on my face.
Well, we did put in kind of rickety chairs up here a little.
I'd have saved you.
Pierce saved her life.
Let's do it again.
We're going to the cemetery.
Let's have an Obama bump here.
Okay. Absolutely.
Bye.
Lovely to see you.
We're going to take a commercial break, and we're back in just a moment.